I was so excited to see on the new Bernina 990 how intuitive the interface is. The Bernina 990 has introduced so many new features, so many cool things, and incorporated things that they have mastered. And one of the things that I think they absolutely nailed it on the head on is going to be their screen interface. On the screen interface, you can see right on this home screen, not only do I have pictures, but I also have words. And I think that's fabulous. So when I go through the screen here, I can go into my sewing mode. And if you've had a Bernina before, you notice that the screen looks kind of familiar, but quite a bit bigger. So it's a 10-inch touchscreen that's right in the center of the machine, so that when I'm sewing over here, my screen is right where it's easy to grab. Alongside of that, I've got my bar like I'm used to seeing, where I can toggle my needle up or down for whenever I stop sewing. I've got my tension. The presser foot screen is something cool all on its own, so let's go in here. Because right now, for some reason, it thinks that I've got my embroidery foot on there. So you can see, whoops, you can see on my screen here, it sees the 26 foot. It tells me what number presser foot it is in nice big bold font. It tells me the name of the foot, so that if somebody references it by name on a tutorial video or in classes, I can see that. And it also tells me what needle plate to have on. So it gives me all that rundown very quickly, very briefly right here. And I can easily switch it to, I've got 1D on here right now. On the presser foot screen, just like on other Berninas, there's a little star that tells me what are recommended for the stitch I have selected. And I've got 1D, so I can press that. And there we go. It tells me 1D, reverse pattern foot, and it's a 9mm stitch width. If I'm looking for a specific foot, say I have my 34C foot, I can type 34 right here and find exactly which foot I'm looking for. I've also got some of the usual icons that we see, but I want to talk about the needle plate too. So on the Bernina 990, it can actually sense what needle plate is on the machine. So right now, it knows I've got the 9mm stitch plate. It does come with the 5.5 and the 0mm stitch plate, which is really nice. And then you can get the punch additionally later if you'd like to. Right now it knows I've got a single needle on there. I can tell it if I switch to twin needle, triple needle, punch needle, hem stitch, any of that. And by triple needle, I mean that one, and a wing needle, of course. So it knows what different needles there are. And one of my favorite features, especially when I was teaching Bernina classes, was this little needle with a bow on it. So right up here, I can press that, and now it shows me all the different tips of the different types of needles. So I can see on a quilting needle how sharp the point is versus like an embroidery needle. And if I want to, I can tell the machine exactly which needle is in there, and it'll make any small adjustments it might need to make for that needle in the fabric that you're doing. You can also select what size of needle you have too, which is really nice. I've also got my feed dogs up and down. So instead of having to reach over here to do that, I can just do it with the bloop of a button. And I've got a really good indicator for the bobbin thread. So that'll let me know when it's getting low. See, bobbin level good, I'm doing great. And then if I want to, there's also a video on how to put the bobbin in. So it's got lots of built-in tutorials right at your fingertips, very easy to do. Now, one of the things that I love is it's got some of the same things we're used to seeing. So your stitch width, stitch length, I can change that. You notice when I change things, they turn yellow. I can click on that, and just like we used to be able to, I can move the dial up and down. I can plus or minus. Whoa! I made that really fun. Or if you do something like that, you can press the yellow box. So instead of just a square, it's a box to put things back to default, which is really, really nice. And if I ever really mess up, there's an undo button in the sewing side, so I can boop, boop. Get us back to where we started. Same thing over here, where I can just press that, put it back to normal, and it actually tells me exactly how wide I can go and all of that. So really fun. But there's even more that we can do. So if I go into the pen icon, that is our new edit screen. On other Berninas, we often see the letter I for more information. But if I press the pen icon, you can see, once again, I've got icons and letters. So I can read, this is a repeat. Mirror left, right. Obviously, I can't show that too much. Directional sewing is something that I'm so excited about. As a costumer, I do a lot of Velcro. I do a lot of trying to manipulate something that's really funky. Also, when you're making bags, that happens a lot too. So I can actually move this any direction, and the machine will actually sew in that direction. I can also move it with my dials. I can also move it with my plus and minus. And if I don't like it, back to default. Nice and easy. So already on the sewing side, you can see so many things that they made easier. Not to mention, I've also got tons of different stitches, including even more decorative stitches than what we're used to. And as a costumer, I love the fact that there are fonts in here that are like bang, wow, smash, crash. So you can turn those into fun things. Not to mention, if you're so motivated, you can actually turn these into jumbo stitches, which means I can blow them up to 500%. And then I could save them and even put them in my embroidery side of the machine. There's so many possibilities. I can also go into my history and see the last couple stitches that I've sewn. So whenever you're working on a project and maybe you're top stitching with a decorative stitch, and then over here you use a triple stitch, and over here you use a straight normal stitch, but you want to make sure your settings are the same each time, instead of sticking a sticky note on your machine like I have gotten in the habit of doing, I can go to this history and it will pull it up with the exact settings that I set it for, which is really, really cool. That's enough on the sewing side though. We'll keep going more into the sewing later on a different video. We're going to go into the embroidery side. So on the embroidery side, once again, you can see layout is very similar. I can go into embroidery designs and look at all those different folders. So I'm going to go into a random one. Let's do celebrations. I'm going to pick something. You know what? My son's about to turn 3. Let's do 3. And then right here on the screen, it pulls it up so I can really see it. On the screen, I can pinch it to make it smaller or blow it out to make it bigger. I can also kind of bring it back to normal. And then what I was so excited to see is that it actually has a bounding box around the design. So just like in software, I can grab these handles, turn things around, make them bigger or smaller, and I can do a lot of different things with that. I also like the fact that it gives me all these different options, and when I open up the hoop side, it tells me the name of the hoop and the size of the hoop, both in millimeters and in inches. I just think that's great. And look at all those different things that's available. The giant hoop is the one I'm the most excited about because it's huge. So we can toggle it to be the giant hoop here if we want. And then I can go to my edit screen, and once again, icons and pictures. So I can do all of the things I'm used to doing without having to hunt and go, ooh, what was that again? So I can put things back to default and go from there. When I am done with my design, I can save it with an icon that looks just like a download button, or I can be ready to stitch it out, and it actually gives me a summary of everything that I need. So it's almost like a tutorial on what to do, and you can even toggle on quilt settings, which that means when I'm trying to do edge-to-edge hooping on a quilt, it will get everything seamless, and you don't have those awkward jump stitches to cut on the back of your quilt. All right, let's keep talking about the home screen here. The other thing is that they've got a help center, and on the help center, it's got 3 different sections built into this. So we've got our quick start, which I like to call our 3 o'clock in the morning help. It's got an instruction manual. So not only do you get a beautiful paper copy, but you also get one on the machine where you can search terms and find things easily, and the consultant. And on the consultant, I can tell the machine what technique I want to do, what fabric I'm using, and I can even scan it with my phone or a tablet to get the tutorial so I can look at it while I'm working on whatever the project is I'm doing. Over here, you notice I keep pressing this menu button. That brings up all my menus, so clear to get rid of any settings. The question mark, which Bernina's question mark was always great. I always called it, you know, my help me buddy whenever the stores were closed. I can press a button and it'll give me information about what is going on that particular thing. So I can ask it about a certain icon. I can ask it about different things. In the settings screen, this is magic. It's all words. So instead of knowing that I need to clean underneath my cutter, and then I know I need to hit the machine, and then a wrench, and then a brush, I can go, oh, machine, Maintenance. Okay, it's that section. Down to maintenance. Cleaning the thread catcher. Boom. And then I'm ready to go. As you guys can see, the Bernina 990 is very, very, very easy to use, and it's very intuitive. I feel like the second we sat down in the classroom at Bernina University, there was a huge sigh of relief because everybody in the room knew exactly where to touch, what to do, and knew that there was so much to explore that they wouldn't get lost for. So if you haven't seen it in person yet, we have them in all 4 of our store locations, and we would love to show you. So stop by one of the stores and start poking around on the screen, because with this 10.1-inch touchscreen, you can't go wrong. We can't wait to show you guys, and thank you again for joining me on this video about the interface on the Bernina 990. Hey guys, here at Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, we always like to make sewing fun start here. And so we appreciate you watching this video. If you want to see more like it, check out this playlist. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you know what is happening here. So we'll see you guys next time.